Who is the baddest man on the planet? In my opinion, it is the Predator, Francis Ngannou, who is the current heavyweight champion. In my opinion, this is his first title defense in the UFC for defending that heavyweight belt. But in a lot of the fans' opinions, CIRYL GANE is the interim champion, and this is a title unification bout because he's the people's champion. Some people would say that for CIRYL GANE. CIRYL GANE wouldn't even say that himself. But does it surprise you, brother, that Ngannou is a plus 135 underdog with a minus 160 comeback for CIRYL GANE? You know how much of a fan I am of GANE, but in my eyes, head over to your sports book right now and put some money on Ngannou. Like, how dare you people? You feel me? I'm just saying, I know this is a what have you done for me lately. I know Ngannou hasn't fought in over, it's been almost a year or something like that. I think he fought last March when he beat Stipe. But give me your take, brother. What do you think about these odds? Are you in line with them? Do you disagree? We need to talk. What do you think?
Bro, I am shocked, absolutely shocked that Ngannou is an underdog. I was expecting a minus 110, minus 110. These dudes they've trained together, they know each other, they have the kryptonite for each other. I'm just absolutely shocked that we have forgotten and blown away Francis Ngannou and fallen in love with the new hot thing that is CIRYL GANE, man. Absolutely mind blown that how soon we forget that the Predator is dangerous, man, and growing. We saw in the Stipe fight, this dude was sprawling, he was rolling, he was doing all the stuff we didn't think he was able to do, and he has a knockout power. My mind is blown. The fact that this dude is the underdog coming into this fight, I was expecting a lot closer, but people have really fallen in love with the new breed of heavyweight that we're seeing in CIRYL GANE. And don't get me wrong, CIRYL GANE, even though he's 10-0, he may not have fought the longest or has the longest streak of fighting the killers, but he has fought some really killer techniques. Just nobody has been able to take him down. Nobody's been able to be the one that's putting him on the back foot, even though he does have very nice movement, lateral movement. He's able to get out of there. Even when he saw Derek Lewis trying to do it, CIRYL GANE just turned and ran. Like he knew better than to just sit there with the power and fuck around with that. He's going to do the exact same thing on this one. There's no chance that he's going to want Ngannou to touch him because he knows how powerful it is. And to that fact, I think the media, I mean, first off, this fight hasn't been conceptualized or promoted anywhere near what it should have been. A lot of people have been saying this is going to be the best heavyweight fight we've ever seen. I hope it is, but there's been a whole lack of promotion. And I really think these numbers come from that video that came out. And to that point, I mean, it was sparring, anything can happen. Sure, he ate a hell of a knee, but even to Francis Ngannou's point, man, he's knocked him out a couple times too. There's when those big mallets start flying, man, anything can happen. I think we're in store for a banger of a fight on this one. I'm absolutely shocked that Ngannou's the underdog. What about you, Derek?
Yeah, brother. I mean, I just, like I said, lest we forget, I don't know what it is about this MMA fans. I don't know what it is about the odds makers, man. But you know how much of a fan I am of CIRYL GANE if you have watched this program. I've bet against him multiple times. I lost, and then I said I cannot bet against the man anymore. Have basically been betting on him since then. But now this is one of those where the betting line has to come to an end eventually because, like I said, that's just how scary of a man Francis Ngannou is. It literally only takes one. And last time that I bet against Ngannou, I was proved terribly wrong because I said, oh, Stipe, he was perfect in the first fight. He'll be perfect again. It's fine. Yeah, guess what, man? You saw it very evident from the beginning. Stipe Miocic, when he was having that first fight, which is, I mean, listen, man, I don't even know if CIRYL GANE could get past a Stipe Miocic. So that's why I think it's a little ludicrous to be like, oh, yeah, he'll just beat Ngannou. You know what I'm saying? But the big key that I had is that Stipe had to be so careful on his entries. He never really could get his offense going because all it took was one jab from Ngannou to drop him. All it took was getting into those sprawls, getting into that ground and pound. Like all of those situations, Ngannou's power is the equalizer for any situation that you have. Yes, can you get him tired? Of course. Will he be patient? Well, hopefully he will. That'll be the predicator of this fight. But AJ, I wanted to take a look over here if you don't mind. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this down real fast and then we'll move on over. Boom. There we go. Okay, let me get you back in, brother. Okay, so we're looking at Francis Ngannou on the left, CIRYL GANE on the right. And I wanted to take a look at the striking numbers between these two. And it's vastly, vastly different. For Ngannou, against Stipe Miocic, he landed 36 significant strikes, right? And this is one of the longer fights that he had. This was 2 rounds over here, brother. 36. Against Rozenstruik, only needed 6. Against Dos Santos, only needed 9. Cain Velasquez only needed 6. Curtis Blades only needed 13. I mean, come on, brother. When we're looking at CIRYL GANE, though, 98 against Derek Derek Lewis, 135 against Volkov, 102 against Rosenstruck, 59 against Dos Santos, 65 against Bozer, 94 against Dontel Mays. The point that I'm basically bringing up here is that Gane has to get it done by volume. That's the name of his game. It's volume, volume, volume. Let me see what I can do. Piece you up, war of attrition, get you tired, then start putting some power on you. Francis Ngannou just never needed that. He never has needed that. Even when we go back to the older fights, brother, and I was watching some of these older fights from Ngannou, and I was like, this is a transformed man. This is a different human being. Because when you watch some of his fights against, for an example, Curtis Blades for the first time, man, like this dude, like, listen, it's like, how do you even know how to defend a takedown? Your strikes are all loopy, all crazy. Looking at Overeem when he got that uppercut from hell on Overeem, man, the win against Arlovsky. I mean, come on, brother. That's all I'm saying here is that, this man, Francis Ngannou, at the end of the day, has life-changing power. He literally disfigured Curtis Blades' face in the first fight. Had to get a stoppage because Curtis Blades' eye was just so swollen. Like, it was that level of fight. So, I guess here's the big question here. This is what we're all wondering. You can't walk through the rain and not get wet. Is that what's necessary for CIRYL GANE here? Like, will he be able to walk through the rain, and survive it? That's the thing. Will he handle those raindrops, or are those raindrops going to be acid rain taking him down? What do you think?
Man, those raindrops are iron dropping from the sky, brother. No way. I think he's going to have the same game plan he did against Derek Lewis, where it's touch up and evade, run away, get away, let the guy get tired. Yeah, turn tail and run. No shame in it when you're facing the predator, because this dude can literally, we've said it a million times, hits you with that pinky, you're going to sleep.
Yeah.
So, there's no way you can walk through that heavy of a rainstorm that Francis Ngannou puts on and not get caught or not get hit. And if you get caught right, man, you're going right to sleep. We saw what he did against Blades and absolutely, like you said, disfigured the man. We've seen a lot of these Francis Ngannou fights, man, the Jairzinho Rosenstrikes, the Junior Dos Santos, these crazy fights where he just touches you and you're going out. It's going to be a very hard, I said before, I usually lean towards the technician in these kind of fights, the guy who's putting it on you consistently. Yeah. But when all you need is one and the other guy has to stay perfect for 5 rounds and not get touched once, yeah, it's a very high mountain to climb.
Is Francis Ngannou at the point of his career right now? He's at the pinnacle, man. This dude's like 35 years old. He's the champion. He made it, right? Is he at the point of his career where you can no longer bet against the man? Like, you just can't until he loses. It's just one of those things where it's just like Mayweather. You're like, all right, man, I'm going to keep betting against this dude for what? Like, he just doesn't lose. You know what I'm saying? For Francis Ngannou, his last loss was against Derek Lewis. I think we can all throw that fight out the window, right? Let's look at the one before that. Stipe Miocic. He was taken down 6 times in that fight. So I guess that's the big question. Can CIRYL GANE take the man down? Will that be part of his game plan? Or, at the end of the day, man, like I said, is Francis Ngannou just in that you can't bet against him territory? What do you think? And then let's give our picks.
Man, I think he's in that you can't bet against him, specifically because of the fact that he's growing, man. We saw the difference in Stipe fight number 1 versus Stipe fight number 2. Homeboy Ngannou was sprawling out, hitting reversals, doing all these crazy stuff that we did not expect him to do. Had tight hands guard up high, very crisp punches, not looping, and he looping a couple, but not really looping as much as he used to. The fact that I was seeing this dude grow in his UFC, in his last 5-6 fights, is absolutely insane. And that's what makes me think you can't bet against this guy. Yeah. I don't think CIRYL GANE's going to take the ground game approach. We haven't seen him have too much of that. He's been a lot more of the volume striker, that Nate Diaz, where he's going to piece you up, death by 1,000 punches. That's a little bit more his style. And it's that new game that we've been seeing these heavyweights have, that speed, that technique that's really been lacking in the UFC or in the heavyweight division. Whereas Francis Ngannou is as much of his nickname is a predator. He's a little bit mix of both. Very talented in the speed department, obviously extremely powerful, and he's getting better on the ground game. And now that he's able to see that and kind of go forward, man, it's a hard bet against Ngannou in my book, anyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And really, let me get myself back on here. There we go. Okay, and really, I mean, I just think that this is a fight that maybe could have took place a couple more fights in the future for CIRYL GANE. You know what I mean? Like, I think that to go straight to the championship, even though the hype is real, man. He's legit. I just think that he needs at least, like, I would like to have seen him get past Stipe before this fight, just because it goes to show, like, if you can get past a Stipe, man, all right, let's talk Francis. But to go straight to Francis without even having to fight Stipe, something just is a little sour with me. Just because CIRYL GANE does also say he was like, if I win this fight, I want to fight John Jones next. So I'm like, well, you know, okay. Well, we don't know if John Jones will ever fight again, really, at this point. But also, I mean, that's tough test. After you're literally saying I'm gonna fight the best, and then I'm gonna fight the best of the best. And then where do you go from there? Sometimes you don't want to hit your pinnacle too quickly, right? You know what I mean? You want to take your time, rise up. But you're only 10 fights in, brother. I'm just saying. So, listen, brother. I'm just going to say it, man. Francis Ngannou gets the job done, I think, in my opinion. And still, you know. And the reason why I say this, once again, we talked about the power. We talked about the tenacity, all of that good stuff, man. But I just don't see a reality where anybody can do what Stipe did to Francis Ngannou in the first fight, man. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just tough to see it just because he has a propensity to be able to make a big octagon look small and a small octagon look like a phone booth, literally. So when you have nowhere really to go against this man, and the only caveat is if Francis Ngannou gasses out, all bets are out. You know what I mean? But if he can keep it within, you know what I mean, that kind of, you know, not too tired, that power remains, even if it goes 3-4 rounds, man, I think Francis Ngannou can get it. Do you think that if this fight goes past 4 rounds, it's just all CIRYL GANE? Or do you think that Ngannou is still in the fight?
No, I think he's still in the fight, but it does lean a little bit more towards Gane in that aspect. If he hasn't been caught yet, it's going to be a little harder once, you know, he's a little bit more tired. Once Ngannou's a little bit more tired. I do think that if it goes to decision, it's looking better for Gane. But, man, I'm rocking with and still on this one as well, man. And I don't see any world where Gane is able to do what Stipe did in the first fight because Francis Ngannou learned from it and was able to grow like he did in the second fight. I think we're going to see a new, invigorated Francis Ngannou, especially with all the beef that's right there. I'm going Francis Ngannou, and I'm going KO round 2, Derek. I think he's going to get it done, man. KO in the second round. He's going to get caught with one of those raindrops and get put to sleep.
Well, brother, now you got me thinking, because I was like, okay, man, I could see Gane surviving a little bit, you know what I mean? Using that footwork, bouncing around, dance. And that's what he said he's going to do. He's like, I'm going to dance, you know? And I was like, oh, I love to hear that. That's like some Muhammad Ali, right? But how many can he take? Because I think he might be able to take a couple. Even Stipe was able to take a couple from Francis before ultimately, you know what I mean? When he got hit with the left hook by Francis, it looked like he got hit by a truck. Like he woke up from getting hit by a car, legitimately, you know? So Gane, he's a little bit of a bigger man. You know, maybe he could take a couple more shots. So I'll go TKO round 3. But that means that I'm going over because it's the over and under is 2.5 rounds on this fight, AJ, believe it or not. So with that being said, my man, we both saying and still for both of the belts. That means that we don't think that there's going to be any title changes. And let me think about it. On the last time that we had some titles where we had Pena and then we had Oliveira, and still for Oliveira and new for Pena. Listen, man, maybe we might be 1-1 this time again. We'll see what happens. But I think that the champions are going to remain champions on this one. These are two very, very high level fighters. And I mean, all of them are high level fighters when it really comes down to it, AJ. But hey, man, that was some main card breakdown.